Hi, I'm Tim. This is the Cheap 3D Printer. Today we're going to take a look at there's only 5 here in rows, but 6 different filaments, and we're going to compare them. And we're going to see, is it worth it to spend more for filament? We're going to look and see, is the expensive filament that much better than cheap filament? Because here at the Cheap 3D Printer, we're all about doing things as cheaply as possible, as inexpensively as possible, without compromising on quality. So let's see if buying more expensive filament means better prints. So let me show you what we got today. We're going to start out with the cheaper stuff, all right? So we have a bunch of blue filament. I spent some time, used Black Friday deals and Christmas deals to buy a bunch of blue filament. So we have Inland blue filament. We have Zil Tech deep blue filament. This is one of my favorite colors. I love this color. We have Strong Hero 3D's blue filament. We have Filamentum's, I believe this is like marine blue or something of that sort. Beautiful filament. We have Colorfab's blue filament. And we're going to look at these, and we have printed, you can see in front of me, we've printed a series of test prints. Now, this is in no way a comprehensive test on every filament and everything, but we have 6 test prints. All filaments have been tested with the exact same G code on the exact same printers. Let me tell you what we've got. We've got this this dinosaur model from Wexter, and he designed this. It's a fun little prints without supports. We're going to look at that in just a moment. All of those are printed on the Monoprice i3 Mini, cheap printer that I got from on eBay. It's an eBay exclusive. So I've done a video on that. You can actually see it right here or here, one of those 2 spots. You'll be able to click to it and watch that video. We have Marvin. We have Benchy, and we have Robber Rex. All of these were printed on my AM8, my modified ANET A8. Not much of the original ANET A8 still exists. It's an AM8 now, but it's a good, very, very good printer. It produces my best quality of any prints that I have, so that's why I chose that printer for these tests. So let me talk to you just a little bit about cost, what each one of these filaments costs. Strong Hero 3D, this stuff right here, is the cheapest stuff I've got. Currently, right now, I checked it right before I filmed, on Amazon, $14.56 a kilogram. You get a full kilogram, $14.56. Following that is the Inland PLA in blue. This is currently $16.99 on Amazon. $16.99 on Amazon. Then we have Zil Tech at $18.99 per kilogram. So slightly more expensive, not greatly more expensive. We're not even over the $20 mark. But we do jump from there to the Colorfab and the Filamentum. The Colorfab I purchased on Printed Solid on their Black Friday deal, I believe it was. And this stuff, I got it cheaper than this, but regular price for the Colorfab is $38.99 for 3/4 of a kilogram, for 750 grams. So when you calculate that out to be for a full kilogram, you get $51.99 per kilogram. Then you go to the Filamentum. This stuff is gorgeous. I just got to tell you that. It is absolutely stunning filament. But I purchased this on Matter Hackers during one of their sales that was going on during the holidays. And it was, I got it cheaper than this, but currently it is $40.99 for 3/4 of a kilogram, 750 grams. So calculated that out to a full kilogram, you're at $54.65 per kilogram. You're 3 times, almost 4 times the cost of Strong Hero 3D. You're 3 times the cost of Inland PLA, and you're almost 3 times the cost for the Zil Tech. So we're going from cheap to expensive. So while you're here, you want to see the prints, right? You don't want me to just leave these here. So let's look at the prints. Let's look at a couple of them here. Let's see if I can figure out what's what easily here. This is a Strong Hero 3D. So we're going to look at the Strong Hero 3D ones. And that one's Strong Hero 3D. This one I believe is Strong Hero 3D based on the color. And this one should be Strong Hero 3D. Okay, so with the Strong Hero 3D, I'll put him over here in the close-up. The blue, it's just very simple blue. It's a nice blue, but it's a very simple blue. There's nothing really spectacular about it, but it does make a nice blue color if you need that color of a blue. And as you look here, the layer lines are pretty well spot on. Let's see if we can get this to focus here instead of on my head. You can see a few spots here and there. I am actually think that is probably due to the printer that I was using, that Monoprice i3. It is an inexpensive printer. It does a decent job, but it is not necessarily a spectacular top-notch print, but it does a good job. And you can see that it did a decent job. You can see that on the Benchy. This is done on the AM8. Get this to focus on here. It did a very good job. You know, there's nothing really too troublesome about this print. The overhang is really sharp, really good. And it did a very good job on this print. Robber Rex, very good. The reason I did Robber Rex is because Robber Rex has some nice flat areas on him that you can really see if the layers are stacking right on top of each other, or whether there's bulges, or whether there's variations in the size of the filament. You can see that type of stuff through Robber Rex because every line is very straight. And I think if you can see there, he looks pretty stinking good. Not much variation in those lines. So he did really well. Really happy with him. And Marvin, because he's just a little bitty print here. Wanted to show you Marvin. Nothing really to write home about. I mean, he's nice. He did very good. No problems on Marvin. So there's Marvin. So that's the Strong Hero 3D. It did a good job. It did a very good job, but you're going to get a very basic blue color. That's what you get from that filament. At $14.56, it's inexpensive. The color does seem to be pretty uniform. There may be a few spots where the color has varied a little bit. So you do see that a little bit throughout the print, but not greatly. But there is some variation throughout the print. That's Strong Hero 3D. Let's go look at the inland PLA. The inland PLA, I believe this one is inland and this one is inland. I actually printed two of the Wexter dinosaurs, and the reason that I printed two of the Wexter dinosaurs is that there was some under extrusion problems with this print. And I'm trying to see if I can find it on the second one. The first one, you can see it right here, right where my finger is. Some under extrusion issue. He otherwise looks pretty good. This model does not have any supports under here. All of the models look a little bit rough under here. No matter the filament, they all look a little bit rough. But there was under extrusion on this one, and I believe... Oh, that's not the right one. That's why. That was Filamentum. Yes, this one here also, you can see right there, under extrusion issues. This did not happen on any of the other filaments, and it happened twice on the inland one, on the inland ones. So I printed it twice just to check and see, okay, maybe I had some problems going on. But actually, this filament has a few little issues that you can see there. It is a nice, it's a deeper blue than what we got in the Strong Hero 3D, but we did have that slight issue. This is the, let's go to the benchy here. This benchy turned out well. Maybe some slight variations in some of the extrusion. You can see the spots there where it started and stopped. You can see maybe right in there. Let's see if I can get this to focus. Did a good job overall though. The overhang, the bridging, it did well. No problems there. And this turned out to be a nice print. The Marvin. Oh, Marvin's here. Now let's go to Robert Rex here. Robert Rex turned out well. Again, I think that his layers stacked on top of each other well. Come on, focus. There we go. His layers stacked pretty well. Doesn't seem to be much of an issue there. He did really well on this print. Marvin did very well again. No real issues on Marvin. He did well. All right, so there you got. Inland was $16.99 per kilogram. And now Zil Tech. This is one of my favorite colors. I got a sample of this in the Alien 3D box that he does. And I loved this filament so much that I had to find it. And so he actually posted where you could get it. And I loved this filament. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. This deep, deep blue. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So I wanted to show it to you. Again, the dinosaur from Wexter. It looks great. I don't really see any issues on this print. It did a great job. I'll show it to you here. This print turned out well. Nice shine to this filament on that printer. This is, of course, the i3 Mini that I told you about. His benchy, the benchy for this one did quite well. You might be able to see one line right here. I don't think that's under extrusion, but it might be. It might be a line of under extrusion there. Got a little fuzz going on here. Again, the overhang is really good. All of these models did very well on this. I mean, they just turned out very, very well. Very happy with how they turned out. And Robert Rex, his layers look nice and even for the most part. Right down here at the bottom, I might have had the bed a little bit too close, or the nozzle a little too close to the bed. But he did a good job. Layers seem to be pretty even all the way across. Doesn't seem to be, I mean, you can look there in the light, there doesn't seem to be any issue there. He did very well. And lastly, the Marvin. Marvin looks good. Marvin looks real good. So that's the Zil Tech. Now we're getting to the more expensive filaments. You are going to see that I think I mentioned earlier, I do have a Maker Geeks. I'm not even going to post a link to it. I've already told you that I don't like Maker Geeks. I just used it because I had some blue on hand. decided to use up the filament. This is one of them. I actually ran out of this filament. Was their pearl blue. I ran out of it, but it did a good job. But again, I'm not happy with the way they do business. I'm not happy with their filament, so I'm just really briefly going to touch on it. This is their crystal blue, and it did a good job. I mean, there's nothing necessarily wrong with it, but like I said, I have had problems with their filament in the past, and I do not like their business practices, and so we'll just move on from them real quick here. Here's Benchy. And one of the things I also have noticed, and you can see it here, is a color variation in this. And the Robert Rex from Maker Geeks, and the Marvin. All right. So now let's move on to the two expensive filaments that we got. We've got Colorfab and we've got Filamentum. We'll do Colorfab first because Colorfab is slightly less expensive. So this is the model for Colorfab. It turned out well. I will say this much. For the amount of money that I spent on this filament, I'm actually a little disappointed in its color. It's just plain. It's just plain blue. There's nothing fantastic about it. Nothing that jumps out at me that says, ooh, I've got to have that blue over a cheaper filament. So that's the Dinosaur. Here is the Benchy, and the Benchy turned out very well. His layers look good. His overhang looks good. See, his layers look very consistent, which is what you would expect. He looks good. And Marvin, oh wait, let's go to Robert Rex here. Robert Rex. Layers look nice and even. You can see them in the sun over there, in the light as it's shining on them. They look nice and even. So did a good job there. And Marvin. All right, so that's, you know, a good print. And then we come to Colorfab, and I will tell you, I think that this, or I'm sorry, not Colorfab, Filamentum. I'll tell you that I think this Filamentum filament it's stunning. Yes, it's $54.65 when you pay for a kilogram, which you only can buy it in 750 grams, but on the same ratio, you know, to 1 kilogram, it's $54.65. But the color in this and the finish on this is absolutely gorgeous. Let me just show you that filament close up, and you can see the shine on that filament. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful filament, and just really, really thrilled with it. This filament is the Filamentum Noble Blue. It's gorgeous. And so here is the Wexter Dinosaur again. And you can see, I'll try to get you a good video of this here. If we can get a focus that's not on me in the back. You can see the layers are good. Again, this is printed on the i3 Mini. And so it is not a perfect print because that printer is not a perfect printer, but it did a good job. It did a very good job. And so that is a very nice print. We have the Benchy. Benchy looks stunning. absolutely stunning. He looks really nice. Nice consistency all across. Maybe a little bit of color variation, but not a lot. It could be due to the shine of this filament that shows that a little bit. Very good. You can see the bridging, the overhang here is very good. Everything just looks very nice on the benchy. Robert Rex, same thing. I mean, he just turned out very well. Consistency across the top, you can see, is very good. You can see through his back and everything. He looks very good. He turned out very well. Very happy with Robert Rex. And lastly, Marvin keychain, and just consistency all the way through. So there you have it. You have 6 different filaments ranging all the way from less than $15 a kilogram all the way to almost $55 a kilogram. And the differences between them, with the exception of the inland PLA, I would say all of them had stunning extrusion. The extrusion was consistent all the way through. The size differences weren't too bad to notice any extrusion differences. They did very well. The inland PLA had a couple problems on the Wexter Dinosaur, which we talked about. From a color perspective, there are some nice colors out there that are from cheaper vendors. Now, you do have the Strong Hero 3D that has a very plain, basic blue. For $15, that's what you're going to get, a very plain, basic blue. But then again, the Colorfab one is not necessarily this stunning, amazing color. It's a nice color. It's a nice blue, but it's not necessarily something that I think is a difference for the price that you're paying. But then you come all the way to the Filamentum, and this filament is just beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. You also have Zil Tech that makes a very nice looking filament. It's a deeper blue, but it's a very nice looking filament. So when it comes to extrusion, I think really across the board, they're pretty similar across the board. Now where I think that you get the benefit when you start spending more money is you get color choices, you get differences in the types of filament that you can get. You can go to protopasta and you can get sparkling filament, and you can get different things like that are going to cost you quite a bit more, and you're not going to find that in $15 filament. You're not going to find a nice filament that has glitter flakes in it for $15. You're going to find a very basic blue. As you bump up, you might find nicer filaments, and maybe on sale you might find something that is a little bit nicer and has maybe glitter or something in it. But you're not going to get that typically in your lower filaments. You're going to get that in your higher filaments. So depending on what you want, depends on what you need to spend. I've got a lot of cheap filament. I run a lot of cheap filament. I run Amazon Basics filament for some of the things that I make to sell. It's inexpensive, but it does a good job. I run some other Strong Hero 3D stuff. I've got stuff that I buy on sale from Amazon for $10, $12, $15. I don't like to spend much more than that because I don't have a lot of expendable income to be able to do that. But now and then, you might need to buy something more expensive to get the quality, or get the color, or get the texture, or get the finish that you want, that you're going to find in some of the more expensive filaments. So there you go. 6 different filaments, 6 different choices to go from, 6 different ways to look at things. And the results speak for themselves. When it comes to extrusion, they're all about the same. But when it comes to the colors and the choices that you have, definitely you got to go more expensive. That's all I got for you today. If you like what I'm doing, click that thumbs up, subscribe below. Would love to hear from you. If you want to leave me a comment, let me know what you think the best filaments are, the best colors. I definitely did not do a comprehensive across the board for every filament that's out there, because you can't do that without spending a ton of money. But I did represent some very low end, some higher end stuff to give you some ideas. Have a great day. Hope you keep printing and keep printing cheap.